All right, we're starting the live broadcast today. So we'll give you guys a few minutes, get your stuff together, make sure everybody is online here, and we'll get the party started. And that's just that. What's up, Mark? Nice to see you here. Oh, and here you come. Joe Shavaria, Sean, what's going on? Nice to see you. Jennifer Roberts, of course, great. Stuart Price is on, everybody's coming in. Nice to see you guys. Give you a second here. And here they come. Good, good, good. Okay, no problem, Mark, good to see you. Monica, good to see you. Yeah, it's been a long time. For some of you, Damon Day, my man. Got your popcorn? Good to go. All right. Well, let's get the party started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first live broadcast. We've got some difficult things to talk through today, but we're gonna handle them well because that's who we are. And I got Alexa over here trying to tell me her business. Nonetheless, for those of you who don't know me or haven't met me, my name is Matthew Hearn. I've been involved in the debt relief and financial services space on the compliance side over the last 15 plus years. I'm actively involved in the compliance of all of the verticals within debt relief, whether it's debt settlement or debt management or student loan relief or tax resolution or credit repair. Involved intimately in the leadership of the industry as a whole. I've got obviously all of you here. Have worked with thousands, literally thousands of companies, hundreds of attorneys in the space, helping you to better understand how the laws directly apply to your businesses, your business model, and to help you navigate some of the waters that we're traveling through. So the motivation for having this webcast is I need to make you aware of what's happening in the industry. It affects all of you. It affects you, whether you're involved in credit repair, tax resolution, whether you're involved in student loan relief, whether you're involved in debt settlement, it doesn't matter. The debt relief industry as a whole is still floundering about trying to find a way forward into the mainstream. And that is what we are doing, and that is why we've invited all of you to come and take a seat at the table and watch this unfold. So I've got a lot of friends in the industry. I've obviously been here a long time. My motivation is to, number one, educate you, protect you, and to help you unite and rally around a common cause so that we can advance our industry. Many of you noticed that we had a significant lawsuit last week against a major credit repair player. We've had several lawsuits lodged against many players within the debt settlement industry. We've had significant lawsuits, obviously, in the student loan relief side, in the tax resolution side. We're seeing some significant regulator scrutiny, and that is an indicator. It's a warning. It says things aren't set up the way they need to be set up in our space to avoid these collisions with the regulators whose primary goal is to protect the consumers and enforce the laws. Now, most of you are involved in a consumer business. Your service that you're offering is designed to help consumers. At the end of the day, the regulators are doing the same. So if their job, their goal is to protect consumers, and your job is to serve and help consumers, shouldn't we be on the same page? It kind of makes sense, right? I've got some friends that despite their best efforts in running their businesses, some of them big businesses, 100 million plus a year businesses in the debt relief vertical, have found themselves behind bars. And you probably shook your head like, wait, what? You can go to jail for running a business like this? Absolutely you can. This is not a game. And despite me helping them navigate and telling them the right things to do, they were receiving bad information from other sources. And the bad information that they were receiving from these trade groups, associations, whatever, was not just negligent, but in a lot of cases, just outright wrong. And as people believe the information they're being given, they operate their businesses, they end up afoul of the laws, they either lose their business, lose their money, in some cases end up in jail. I've got one, like I said, in jail right now. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So I want to talk to you about history here, okay? So those of you who were at the RevCon event last year heard this whole presentation. You understand where we've come as an industry, what has happened along the way, and why things are so difficult right now. History will repeat itself if we don't heed the lessons taught by it, okay? I'm going to take you back to 2008, 2009, 2010, okay? The industry at that point had been through a series of struggles. Different trade groups had popped up. They competed with one another. They caused a significant amount of trouble. And the long story short is we saw a J curve in the business because there was so much business to be had. Entrepreneurs came in from all angles, and they came in, everybody got good game, everybody building the company, going to make their $1 million, and we ran into some trouble. The rogue behaviors, the rogue activities began to accelerate to a point where the regulators had to do something. We came into the 2009 part of that trend and into 2010 where we literally skidded sideways into 2010. The TSR amendment was enacted, banning advance fees from nearly all of your verticals, anything involving a consumer debt relief type product. It was now illegal to collect an advance fee, which put a huge number of companies out of business. The trade groups at that point began to influence people and feed them information and tell them these are the ways to get around these laws and how to navigate through these little loopholes, and we can all still make money and it'll be great, and ended up causing another huge explosion in the industry. And like I'd said, bad information, bad navigation, and it ends up costing everybody, because it wasn't just the companies that got hit or went out of business that were affected, it was all of us. Okay. Now, I operate a business in the industry as well, not in specifically offering a consumer debt relief product. I did that in my early career, and then I migrated into the compliance training, certifications, compliance consulting, that sort of thing. But so my business is directly impacted by your businesses. If your businesses are suffering, my business will suffer. So I have a vested interest there. We're all business owners, right? We all live in America, want to make our money and have a good time. But at the end of the day, we need to make some changes, okay? And I'm going to tell you something that a lot of you don't want to hear, and some of you really do want to hear, okay? The trade association, trade group, credibility group model is broken, and it does not work any longer. I'm going to tell you why this is, okay? We see this lawsuit that just got lodged against, we'll take credit repair for now. We could take any number of industries because it's been a part of the game for a while. But credit repair is taking a hit right now. Lex Law gets hit. Ironically, just 2 years ago, another major CFPB lawsuit against the credit repair industry happened, okay? Same exact set of circumstances. Now, the credit repair industry has a trade group, yet 2 years pass, and we're seeing the same types of enforcement activities happening in that space. My question is, how is that possible? Because a trade group exists as a whole to provide education to the members, to navigate properly into the industry, to help you to know how to run your business, know how the laws directly apply to your business, help you create best practices, enforce those best practices, protect the consumers, create uniformity, all of these things that are supposed to be happening, right? None of those things have happened, okay? The same thing happened in the settlement industry, and the same thing happened in the student loan relief industry. Now, the Student Loan Relief Association was so outrageous and so, there's not even really a word for it. Egregious is the word for it. Okay, they allowed these operators to just go rogue and just do anything they wanted to do because look, there's no real laws set in place that govern this specific model, so we're just going to do whatever we want. And what ended up happening? Most of them were shut down in Operation Game of Loans, and the trade group itself shut down, vanished, went away. We no longer, manage any of these members. Yet the same leadership involved in that organization is running organizations in credit repair and in debt settlement. That's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. So let's talk about why the model itself, the trade group model itself. What's up, Rowdy? Good to see you, buddy. Let's talk about why that trade group itself is like faulty. Why doesn't it work? Okay, so there's three reasons that I would say that cause a trade group or trade association to become faulty. Okay, and I'm not talking about all trade associations, because there's some really, really good ones that have actually innovated, that have created some systems that are absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, the Direct Sales Association just created a model very similar to what we are building with OCCAM. And they were praised by the regulators for creating a meaningful self-regulation program and for actually creating a uniform standard and enforcing those standards. That's amazing, right? Credit counseling has done a pretty good job of managing their own selves, right? They have a very robust system. Look at organizations like FINRA, right? And what it is that they do within their industry. And that's really, if we want to go from this sort of hustler industry to a mainstream industry where the consumers trust us, the regulators trust us, we're able to navigate the laws successfully and run businesses not worrying about whether or not we're going to get shut down tomorrow. Okay, those are the models that we need to look at and decide, how long are we going to play this game? How long are we going to let leadership be asleep at the wheel while we're in the back seat careening towards a cliff and at the same time paying for the gas and buying the coffee, right? So the three reasons why I believe that a trade group model can't sustain itself and can't work. Number one, it could just be that they're apathetic. Okay, they're collecting their membership dues, they're doing what they think they can do, they're kind of creating this nice little credibility badge for your websites, and people seem to be okay, so we're just gonna let it go, right? I'll tell you what, that's the wrong way to lead and govern an industry, okay? Second reason could be behind this is that there are hidden agendas at play, okay? It's money, it's politics, it's power, it's greed, maybe protecting one or a couple of bigger companies' agendas over the interests of the masses, the rest of us that operate in the space, doing that sort of lobbying behavior, kind of pushing for rules and laws that would affect you, but primarily would give an advantage to one of the bigger companies that might be paying a lot of money to be a member of this trade group, let's say. Or the third one, which I think is probably the most relevant, that's just outdated. Okay, the way that a trade group is designed is just outdated. Okay, we're in 2019 right now, and it is time for us to advance. It's time for us to innovate. It's time for us to get hip with what's happening and create something actually meaningful so that we can all not just survive, but thrive in that environment. Okay, now please understand, I don't have a vendetta or an issue with the individuals involved in the leadership. I do have an issue and I do have a vendetta in regards to the effect that it's having on the industry as a whole, okay? Now, we're in the same situation we were in 2008, 2009, going into 2010. So if history can teach us anything, what do you think is gonna happen here in now 2018, 2019, moving into 2020? Now we're starting to see ramped up enforcement. We're seeing the regulators becoming more aggressive towards the rogue behaviors. And again, not just are the trade associations asleep at the wheel, but on top of that, they're polarizing the landscape. And from the stages of their little trade group shows, they're basically disparaging the regulators. They're saying horrible things about the regulators. Now, does that seem smart to you? Because I don't think it's cute. It makes them look like they're really tough and powerful, and we have this powerful lobbying thing, and we're doing this. No, you're not. It's not cute. You're not doing any of those things. You're sending a couple of guys to go whisper in the ears of a regulator or some lawmaker somewhere, and you don't have a meaningful system behind it that will really represent the best interests of our people, right? So at the end of the day, not getting good information, matter of fact, getting outright wrong information, okay, whether it be from state licensing and regulation requirements, fee cap provisions in different states, whether it's a federal law like the telesales rule amendments, Section 5, UDAP, all of this stuff that needs to be addressed that is absolutely not being addressed at all, okay? It's horrific, okay? Tax resolution has... Your marketing is atrocious in some cases, right? You see some of this marketing for credit repair, credit debt settlement. The marketing itself is completely rogue, down to the mailers. And who's advising these people? Who's telling them that this is a good idea? Or that, my guess is you're hearing words like defensible. I can defend that. Or that should be okay. Or as long as there's this little disclaimer, you're going to be all right. Okay. But listen, all of you who know me, I'm not that guy. I'm going to tell you right and wrong, and I'm going to always tell you right and wrong. Sometimes we have to have those hard discussions. Like, man, look, I love you, but you're all wrong here. This isn't the right thing to do. You've got to take this to a consumer-focused, consultative sales methodology. You've got to have a full disclosure consultation. Consumers need to know what it is that you're selling. They need to know what it is that they're buying. It's very important. Okay, so that's number one. Aside from this and the problems that we're seeing in the space, the leadership asleep at the wheel, careening towards the edge of the cliff. Last year's RevCon, we made a decision that we were going to launch the initiative that we announced in 2017 at our RevCon event here in Vegas. And we said, you know what? It's time for us to stand up, put our big boy, big girl pants on, and make some tough decisions. And we have to change the direction that we are going as an industry. And the only way it works is if we are all united behind one common cause, okay? One common effective system, period. It doesn't work any other way, okay? Tax resolution, you'll never have the credibility or the power to affect change without your counterparts in the industry being the debt settlement players, the credit repair players, the student loan doc prep guys. All of these guys that are out there operating independently right now, imagine what we can do together, just the brain power in itself together, the things we can create, the ways that we can innovate, the ways that we can integrate fintech and other products into our services, the ways that we can better open dialogue with the regulators. It's huge, okay? But we got to wake up, right? We got to wake up. We got to say, hey, this isn't working. You might not be the one getting hit today, but you may end up being the one getting hit tomorrow. And if you're not getting hit tomorrow, you might be the one that is going to be affected by the laws that get changed because of the behaviors of these other players. And frankly, the associations are letting that slide. They're not doing their job. And I think it's because they just can't. You can't enforce a pay-to-play system. If an organization is getting paid by their membership to have the credibility badge, and then that agency, company, firm, whatever, becomes rogue, how do you enforce that? How do you kick them out of your organization if you need that revenue to run your organization, okay? So pay to play's got to go out the window, number one. This has to be effective, okay? So the bottom line to what this looks like is that if we don't regulate ourselves, the government is going to regulate us. The reason why law enforcement actions happen, the reason why these investigations happen is because there are rogue behaviors that are left unchecked. Nobody is doing anything about it, and nobody is guiding the industry in a better direction. We can't begin to lobby until we can go to the lawmakers and the regulators and say, look, we have a very safe environment here. This is our policies. This is our standard of conduct. This is how we enforce those things. This is how we make sure that no consumers are being harmed within our membership. We have to be able to show them a meaningful system, not just a bunch of talk, right? Everybody talks a good game. At the end of the day, what's the most important thing? Results, right? Results. If it's not producing the fruit, that tree's dead, and it's got to be cut down and burned and make way for trees that will grow and bear fruit. Does that make sense? So we don't want to polarize the environment with the regulators. I'll tell you that right now. I have a lot of colleagues involved in the CFPB and involved in the Federal Trade Commission that I have regular dialogue with that don't want to be polarized. They don't want to be against us. They're not against anyone. They're just simply enforcing the rules. And as long as there are violations to the rules, they're going to continue to enforce, and they're going to continue to be more aggressive the more the behaviors continue to get worse. And right now, the behaviors are just getting worse. So we're not even going to talk about lobbying. That's not even a thing, okay? It shouldn't even be happening, okay? So what do we do about this, right? Now, you're involved right now watching me on a live stream. What's up, by the way? In a group called OCCAM Leadership Forum, okay? Well, what is OCCAM, right? You need to get acquainted with what OCCAM is because we are pushing this agenda forward and we are uniting these industries, these verticals, and we are bringing everyone together and we are creating and deploying methods of self-regulation that are meaningful and that work and that we can demonstrate to the regulators are effective, okay? Now, the more of us that work together to create this environment, the more successful it's going to be, right? Blessings to you, Michael Sullivan. Nice to see you here, my friend. So we're going to create the change that we want to see, right? We see those fancy memes all the time. Be the change that you want to see. There we go. Let's put that to action, right? Let's create the change that we want to see. If we want this industry to be accepted by the mainstream, if we want the consumers to trust you, if we want the regulators to believe in you and to loosen up on some of these regulations and to let us do our thing and help these consumers with the services we're offering, we're going to have to do something about it and make some radical changes. So we're doing a U-turn here, and we are going to push this agenda forward so radically hard that it's going to be a get on the bus, get off the bus, or just get out of the way, because it's not going to matter. We're going to bring this industry into the mainstream, and we're going to do it aggressively, okay? A lot of you know me. I don't do anything halfways. If I'm going to put my mind on something, I'm going full bore, and we're going to do it all the way until we win. That's how we do it, okay? So every vertical is involved in the OCCAM platform, okay? So OCCAM is a meaningful self-regulation platform that is going to allow us, number one, the credibility to the consumers, the credibility to the regulators. It creates a uniform set of standards for each of the verticals, okay? Each of the verticals involved in OCCAM, okay, is sort of represented by a group of leaders from that vertical, okay? So tax resolution is a vertical within OCCAM. Tax resolution leaders are involved in governing that as an advisory board, okay? Debt settlement, the same. Credit repair, the same. Student loan relief or doc prep, the same, okay? We have a legal advisory team over them that are able to provide meaningful education about how the laws are applying directly to our business models and what we need to do to get in compliance with those rules, okay? So these are the things that should be happening all the time. We need to be having meaningful open dialogue so that we can hear from you. Everyone can have a voice. Everyone can, kind of be involved in the evolution of the industry as we all kind of move forward. The most important part about OCCAM that I think is sort of we'll call it our hallmark, right? We have a zero tolerance complaint policy. Okay, that's simple, right? That's really simple. I mean, obviously there's disclosures and things that need to be put into these, into your contracts. And there's all this other fun stuff that happens when proper leadership is being applied. And violations to these sorts of rules and the uniformity will also bear consequences, actual consequences. But at the end of the day, the consequences that occur are going to be in direct response to the consumers. If a consumer comes to an OCCAM, to OCCAM and says, hey, I'm working with an OCCAM member and they screwed me over, okay? OCCAM will engage that company and we will address it. If it doesn't get resolved to the consumer satisfaction and the business is unwilling, okay, then that business gets removed from OCCAM membership because there are no membership dues. There is no pay-to-play system. You come in based on merit. If you are running a good, clean company, which we check initially through a very comprehensive audit, we look at all the intricate pieces of your business. If you're just a one-man show, we're going to do a background check. We're going to look at how you're formed as an LLC or a company or whatever. We're going to look at your marketing. We're going to look at your social media. We're going to look at the stuff, and we're going to give you advice on whether or not you're in compliance with the rules and what can work and what won't work. Now, bigger companies, obviously, there's a little more to that. But the bottom line is that if that complaint doesn't get resolved satisfactorily, that member's removed. Period. They're removed. But guess what happens to that consumer? Other OCCAM members are going to step up and they're going to take care of that consumer. So that any consumer that interacts with an OCCAM member is going to have a good ride. They're going to get everything that they were told they would get, and one of us is going to provide it. Maybe we do it for free. Maybe we get to make a couple bucks doing it. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we are our brother's keeper in this environment. Okay? So we will provide you the correct information, not fall asleep at the wheel. We're going to make sure that you understand the rules. We're going to understand how these laws directly apply to your business, and we're going to help you comply with those rules and help you roll out a successful business. Okay? Then, as we're doing right now, we're actually building a delegation right now. The CFPB, there's a team of 12 of them that I'm working with that would like to meet with a delegation from OCCAM. Okay. Now, last year's RevCon event, we launched the OCCAM platform. We had the CFPB there present. We had other regulators in the audience, but we had Gandhi Eswaramurthy talking from the stage and explaining to you that, hey guys, this OCCAM thing, kudos. This is the way forward from the stage. Okay. Beyond that, they built a team that wants to meet and hear from us. Okay. So we need a delegation. We need leaders from every vertical together, united under a common cause, to go to Washington and sit down and talk to them and start helping them understand what we're doing here and how our businesses operate so that they can make more effective regulatory changes. So if we want to see things loosened up, is it a good idea to stand up on the stage and say that the regulators are a bunch of do-gooders looking for a press release? Or is it better to stand up on the stage and say, we want to comply, we want to protect consumers, we want to do the right things, we want to help people, right? Better idea, right? I think so. So at the end of the day, we're going to drive the consumers to our OCCAM members because we're going to engage the consumers directly. We're going to show them that we have a meaningful system that's going to actually help them in their time of need. And we're going to drive that traffic to you organically and not for money. Not for money. Free leads? How's that sound? A badge on your website that actually means something? When a consumer asks you, well, what does that mean? Is it just a trade group? No, it's a meaningful self-regulation platform. We've been through a comprehensive, rigorous audit. We've had every bit of our business looked at. Our business is transparent. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If we violate any of these principles or statutes or we harm you in any way, guess what? You're going to get taken care of by that organization. Period, right? I mean, that's a big deal. That means something. It's not just, oh, I have this badge, I'm a part of this group. Blah, 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 right? It's a thing. So bottom line is that you need to get familiar with what we're driving. I highly encourage you to go to www.occam, OCCAM, Alliance, ALLIANCE.org and read it. Don't just look at it, read through it and really get your head around what it is that we're doing. Because it's going to affect everyone one way or another. We would prefer to have you on board because together we can do some really, really amazing things. Obviously, go to the OCCAM Facebook page, get acquainted there. This is going to be the first of many live webcasts that we're going to do here in this forum. So if you have other people that are involved in the industry, in businesses alongside you, encourage them to come and take a seat at the leadership table. We're going to have another webcast here on Monday. We'll have another live broadcast. We're going to start addressing some of these other issues along the way. It's going to be at 2 p.m. again on Monday. So we're going to do this regularly so that we can feed you the right information and help you better understand where it is that we're heading and what we're going to do. So you guys, if I could tell you anything right now, okay, here's what I want to tell you, okay? You guys are the superheroes. You are out there every day, day in and day out, helping these consumers with credit-related issues, tax-related issues, debt-related issues. This is a big thing, man. Debt stress is like one of the #1 killers in America. It's the #1 cause of divorce in America, okay? You're doing good things. Shouldn't you be looked at like the good guys? I want to give you that platform. All of us want to give you that platform. You deserve to have front row seats to the show, and you deserve to have a platform. And we're going to give you that platform. And I just want to encourage you to continue. Don't be afraid of these lawsuits when they happen. Don't freak out when they happen. You know, if you need to get some advice, that's all great. We're happy to give advice and all those sorts of things as well. However, okay, these things have been going on for a while, and we're going to navigate away from that. So it might look turbulent now, might look a little scary now, but at the end of the day, it's you, all of you, me, our team, the other OCCAM advisory board members. We're rooting for you, and we're on your team. We're going to make a way for you. We're going to forge a path. And guess what? You're coming along. So that's that. So I won't keep you anymore today. I am glad you all showed up. I hope you got some information out of this that's going to help you. But go check that website out. Make sure that you get set up on this to get the notifications on the regular feeds, because Monday 2 p.m. we're doing this again. But we're gonna start honing in on some of these issues and talking about the tough stuff. And if you want to post something on the site, on this group, please do. We'll open up some dialogue there, get acquainted with the rest of the people involved in your industry with you, and I just tell you right now, I appreciate you guys all showing up, and I appreciate you rallying around the cause. And we look forward to RevCon this year. We're going to have a really good time, and we're going to talk about even more relevant things. So we'll catch you then. We'll see you at the show. Take care.